All right, perfect. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. It looks like we're just on time right now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Today's topic is going to be basically AI and how advisors can begin using AI to grow and optimize their IRAs. So on today's webinar, we're featuring both Bridge and ForwardLane. I will be the moderator for today's call. My name is Carolyn Kick, really excited to host you guys. And I am so excited to introduce our first panelist, Scott Mixer of ForwardLane. Scott, would you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Carolyn. Yes. Hi, Scott Mixer here. I'm the COO and head of partnerships and strategy at ForwardLane. Very excited today to talk how AI, this very buzzy term that's sitting out there right now, can actually help your RIA practice today. And in particular, we've got a great partnership with Bridge, and we'll talk about how we can help you move this along today. And with that, I'll hand it over to Rashid.
Thanks, Scott. And looking forward to diving in here. My name is Rashid. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bridge Financial Technology. See a few of our clients on the attendee list, which is great to see, and a few new faces as well. Looking forward to diving in here and giving a little background about the company momentarily and talking about the challenges that we're going to solve for and the partnership with ForwardLane.
Awesome. So I think just one quick housekeeping thing for everyone before we get into the presentation is we do have a live question and answer session at the end. So as we're going through the presentation, if you have any questions that pop up, go ahead and use the tool within the Zoom webinar platform to submit those. And we'll actually get to all of those at the end of the call. So Rashid, would you tell the audience a little bit about Bridge?
Of course, yes. So Bridge was founded in 2015. We started out of a RIA services consultant. Team had about 15 years of prior experience serving RIAs. Our mission, as you can see here, is empowering financial advisors to drive higher quality client outcomes with data-driven software and infrastructure. The infrastructure part is a newer part of the Bridge business. So I'm really excited to be on this webinar today, talking to ForwardLane about their integration and the partnership that we have with them. And so a few areas in terms of how we help: data centralization, automation, and modernizing reporting, wanting to make sure that firms have access to institutional grade tools for data aggregation, automation, and report creation and delivery, amongst other things. So really excited to talk through how some of our core tenets of helping advisors and how our mission is really being driven and expanded as a result of the partnership with ForwardLane.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rashid. Really appreciate that. Scott, would love to turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about ForwardLane.
Thanks, Carolyn. Yeah, I just want to say before we dig into ForwardLane that what Rashid was talking about is in terms of being advisor centric and making sure that we can help empower you today. That's exactly where ForwardLane sits too, and that's why we're so closely aligned on this particular effort. We were founded also in 2015 in New York. We're a diverse team of financial services, wealth management, and IT and data science background folks. What we did at that particular time and what we've been focused on since then is we identified the need among financial advisors to really spend more time interacting with your clients and less time preparing and gathering the information necessary for that interaction. We've been operating a fairly successful enterprise business now for the last couple of years, where we deliver this particular solution to very large wealth managers and asset managers across North America and the globe. But what's really important today is that we have developed a platform that's specifically focused on delivering this to you and to RIAs. And that is a huge part of what this message is today, is that this AI is actually available for you and you can use it to benefit you today. Carolyn, do you mind advancing to the next slide?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks. So ForwardLane's background, as you can see, we come from a few logoed companies there that you might recognize. What's important here is the partnerships and what we're striving to do as a platform. We want to be the essential platform for financial professionals to have personalized client conversations. And that means that we need to bring in info from lots of different places and data from across the spectrum. And so the two that we're going to be focused on today, of course, is Bridge and Rashid, but also your CRM and if you're a user of Wealthbox. And that's really what we'll dig into. So just to set the stage here a little bit, the way that we thought about this, and I think that this probably rings true with just about everybody on the call here, is that before, and I'm talking in the past, financial advice was just about recommending the right product. Today, that's obviously not the case. There is a huge shift to advice, but what clients really, really care for is having that personal financial coach and that trusted advisor. It's knowing that that person is there to help and assist them with everything that they need from a financial perspective.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important to note that there is a lot of evidence that this, problem is going on in the market, sort of overall. So Scott, if you could sort of go through some of the stats you guys are seeing and some of the evidence that kind of backs this up, that would be great.
Yeah, I think what's important here is this is information coming directly from clients. In the survey, you can see that's prepared here by Y Charts, shows us that 64% of clients say that their advisors contact them infrequently or very infrequently. No, that's 2/3. What about 75% say that they want their advisor to send them interesting statistics or articles that are relevant to their portfolio holdings? And I think to cap this off, we see 85% of these clients consider their advisor's frequency and style of communication while retaining services. And 88% consider this important while making referrals. And this is really the core case of what we're focused on here. We're trying to help you improve not only the frequency, but the interest and level of personalization in those communications with your clients so that you can retain more assets and grow your business through referrals. And if you aren't regularly engaging with your clients and prospects, guess what? Your competitors are. That's an important point to remember too. So just as an overview, we think about advisors and how you spend just about 1/3 of your time actually speaking to clients and prospects. And I don't mean sitting down in a meeting, but any of your communications and engagements. But if we just saw that clients and prospects value this communication much more, what is it that's holding us back? And that is that gathering the personalized insights that you need to speak to a client on a daily basis is very time consuming. If you spend more than 50% of your time just preparing to have a discussion or preparing for that email or preparing for that outreach, let alone inbound calls and things that are flooding. And I'm not talking about some in-depth specific version of an insight that might be visionary. I'm talking about just having a touch point with a client. You are pulling data from lots of different systems, you're checking it, you're making sure the numbers look right, you're reading and understanding news. There's a lot of information that's bombarded on in your lap for you to be able to have that particular client conversation. And advisors tell us today that only 13% feel that they're in complete control of their time. So we believe that regular and effective touch points with clients will help you grow your business. And you need easy access to the right insights for every single client.
Thanks so much for going through all that, Scott. I think that's really important to sort of set the context for the conversation around data and AI. Rashid, I'd love to have you speak a little bit towards sort of how ForwardLane and Bridge work together in order to kind of partner really good data with producing great client insights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of the points that Scott was touching on, just sort of setting the stage for the challenges that a lot of firms face here. Again, it's in the diagram on the left here is sort of talking about the data as sort of the foundational piece for what ultimately we want to be able to deliver is really great insights. And so being able to turn data into useful information, but even beyond that, then distilling that information into insights that are actionable. So the thing that's so powerful about this partnership is that it's really marrying that good, high quality data coming out of Bridge. And that's allowing ForwardLane to deliver really high quality, good insights to advisors. And this is reducing a significant amount of time spent in terms of some of that review and the prep and the analysis. And again, it's not a silver bullet, of course, it's not everything all at once. But we believe it's an incredibly powerful solution that's really allowing firms to be able to reduce the time spent on that data collection, surfacing that data. And Scott, I know we've been working together for some time now. And so I know that, this is an area where you guys were really excited to partner as well in terms of some of that data collection. And I think in particular, one of the points that you made at the outset, maybe you might want to, if you want to speak to it at further length in terms of taking what was previously an enterprise solution, right? There's a lot of discussion and buzz around AI, but most of the firms in the market don't have $1 million to throw at this problem. They're not, having a huge IT budget where they can go and get some enterprise AI solutions. So I think, again, I'd love to get your perspective on it as well in terms of how we're partnering together to deliver this for an RIA business owner.
Yeah, thanks, Rashid. And I do think that's important to note is that, our success in the enterprise space meant that a lot of organizations that had money to throw at this problem could say, look, let's collect all this data, let's put it in one place, and we'll serve these insights for our advisors and make sure that we can, understand what's important to them. Where ForwardLane comes in that scenario is that quite often the data is located in lots of different silos or across a firm. And when you're thinking about operating your business in the RIA space and what's important to you, your job isn't the IT professional to go figure out where that data is and get it coordinated. And so that's what we want to make sure we can alleviate. And we spend a lot of time with partner like Bridge to make sure that that data is accurate and accessible so that we don't have to worry about finding it and searching for it and coordinating it for you. Instead, it becomes an automated thing where those insights, and I think Rashid, you said this correctly before, it's not a silver bullet. That insight is basically just information that you would normally need to know and go and find about each client is delivered directly to you. And as the old adage would say, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have that good data, if you don't have that accurate and accessible data, then you're not going to get what you expect on the outcome of that and that insight. And so what we've delivered and what we can do in partnership with Bridge is really go and take care of the data collection and aggregation from multiple different sources so that we can improve and give you timely insights.
Awesome. Thanks for talking through that, guys. Rashid, I think, you had some thoughts on this front as well. And Scott, if you could provide some context as well, that would be great.
Yeah. And I think this, Scott, just a continuation in terms of what you're saying here, right? Like this is our sort of workflow to get that personalized insights. I think the important thing to underscore here is really what you were just talking about in terms of Bridge and ForwardLane doing that heavy lifting from this workflow, right? So the advisors that we're talking to and the advisors that are using this don't have to go and collect the data and figure out how to enrich it and combine it with your CRM data, right? That's happening in the background so that we can deliver these insights from ForwardLane automatically for them. And so, obviously you're the expert here in terms of this this data flow. If you want to maybe elaborate a bit as well.
Yeah, I'll point to number one right there, aggregate data. You hit the nail on the head, Rashid. We go and collect information from your CRM system. And that info, of course, is going to be some client level detail, but also it's going to be those notes and those activities that you typically record. And as well as marrying that with that Bridge data. And so what we can get from a great partner like Bridge, we then take that information and we enrich it. And what does that mean at ForwardLane? This is a little bit of that AI that you may have heard of before. But we have an NLP that's specifically designed for finance. That's natural language processing, which means that we read all of those notes and we can pull out interesting and effective financial terms from those and make sure that we understand what those discussions are about. And that's part of how we feed this automated analysis, number 3. We have a signal engine and an insights module that work together. It's a lot of jargon, I understand, but really the number 4, you get personalized insights. That means something for every single client in your book of business as a result of pulling this data in, enriching it, and understanding how effective it is. And I think the benefits are pretty self-explanatory. We offer this opportunity to just save time. And that means just the basic effect of looking at different areas within your business and finding that data, that information, that note, that saved detail that you want to discuss with a client, we can automate that for you and deliver it one-to-one for every single one of your customers in your book. We help you grow because you can share this personalized information and reallocate more time directly to that interaction with your customers and uncover more referrals and retain more assets with this. And of course, it's a better client experience. Your end clients have more personalized communications with you, and it's directly affecting those original numbers we looked at, saying, is this personal? Is it interesting? Is it something that's relevant to my portfolio, and should I care about it? And that's the feedback we get direct from clients, is that an improved experience with their advisor goes a long way. I think it's worth at this time kind of going into a demo and showing you actually how we do this at ForwardLane. So this is a snapshot of a dashboard at ForwardLane, and this is an interaction that you can have directly with the platform if we just plug in that CRM data and that bridge data. Now, each one of these elements is a separate module. I'm going to talk about the three most important things on the screen here, and that's client prioritization in the upper left-hand corner, and then the two modules on the right-hand side, signals and content personalization. In client prioritization, what does this mean? Well, this is actually the culmination of those insights put together. We have the opportunity to look as you approach your desk in the morning, every signal that's affecting every single one of your clients, paginated, so you could flip through if you wanted to, or search and filter for them however you want. But if you don't touch anything, what you're seeing is a prioritized client list of whom to call and what to say for every single person in your book of business. So these insights or the signals are running across your entire book. We're generating what's compelling and of interest, and we're then aggregating that into a priority score. It isn't about finding where, for instance, Nervous Nelly number 6 is on your list. It's about going to that number 1 person and understanding what is affecting their portfolio, what is affecting their relationship, is there anything interesting I can share, and why are they being prioritized? And I'll get into a little bit more of the signals that are generating that on the next slide, but I want to just focus on one thing. Sorry, if you could just go back. Oh, I'm sorry. Focus on one thing here, which we have on the right-hand side that says filter by. We do have the opportunity in the prioritization for us to look through not only just what in general is affecting all of my clients, but to narrow down the type of conversations you want to have. And this is important when you think about the notes and the other things that you've captured in CRM and the activities. If something is affecting a client or multiple clients, wouldn't you like to know so that you could have that same conversation essentially over and over again? And that gives us the chance to do that here. I've highlighted retention as an opportunity, but there's essentially 5 different signals that go into client retention in this instance. And if I resort my client prioritization, it's showing me in order or by priority which clients are going to be affected by those retention signals. And I might want to pick up the phone and talk to them for those specific reasons. And you can see other collections like financial planning and cash flows, other elements like that are available, but this is also a customizable platform. So things that you want to do in the conversations that you want to have, we can make sure those are part of this. Let's dig in a little bit more into what a client signal is. At ForwardLane, we like to say everything starts with a signal. And these signals are representative of a typical client conversation, but I think what's important here is that it can be as simple. It doesn't have to be some elaborate AI or algorithm figuring this out. It can be as simple as, hey, you haven't talked to this client in a while, and they are a priority client of yours by this segment. You should give them a ring. Or it could be a little bit more complex based on portfolio holdings, positions, things that they have in terms of their future financial goals and other discussions that we've had. And as I said before, ForwardLane is reading those notes in CRM with our NLP. We have a specifically designed NLP called Goal Miner, which helps find financial goals that may have been discussed with clients that we just need more context to. So we can actually surface something saying, it looks like you had a discussion about a future goal on this particular date and time, or it's been mentioned several times in notes over the last year or specific set of time, so that it brings it back in front of you. You can take a look at those notes and you can understand exactly if you should be following up on an additional goal or planning opportunity with those clients. And from the data that we get from Bridge as well, we can look directly to performance and other notes that surround the portfolio and elements that you may want to bring up. And these are just examples of some of the signals that can be brought to you. What's important here too, and you can kind of see down the right-hand side all the way at the bottom where it says 3 points and there's a thumbs up, is that thumbs up is available as well as star ratings on everything in the ForwardLane system. And so that helps us understand what's actually useful for you. This is how you get a tailored AI solution that delivers these insights for your RIA. That's going to be different than everybody else's. If you like a signal, or you think it's interesting, or you think there should have more data to it, or there's another source or other element, this is where our machine learning models can be trained, and your input helps us understand which of these signals are more important than others across your entire book of business, which of these signals are more important for this particular client, and we can get more specific on the weightings of those signals, and that's how we establish those priorities. And finally, the last thing I wanted to bring your attention to today, and how we bring all this data together, is in content personalization. It's great to say that you have a client with several different signals that are affecting them, but that insight isn't complete unless you can really prepare information that's relevant to them. In this example, we are looking at external information. So we're pulling data from Refinitiv and Thomson Reuters and other news sources externally. But ultimately, if you have white papers, strategy docs, other elements that you would like to include from a pre-approved marketing material, this content can be matched one-to-one with every single one of your clients. And it doesn't just throw that in there and say, talk to CEO Cecil about this. We also expose, as you can see on the right-hand side, the reasons why that particular piece of content is relevant. So it helps you get a better sense of why you're even bringing that story up, or why that particular element is even accessible for Cecil.
Awesome. Thanks so much for going through that, Scott. So Rashid, I'd love to turn it over to you to talk a little bit about how you've seen some bridge clients sort of achieve results by leveraging this AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of the key elements that Scott was taking us through are really the ones that we see heavy usage around. I know when we were, initially evaluating our partnership opportunity with ForwardLane earlier last year, actually, the results were what got us really excited about being able to bring this to the RIA market together. Again, and I'll be a broken record here. There's lots of AI opportunity for large enterprises that have significant corporate budgets. Our core focus as a business has always been on the RIA market and working with a lot of business owners. So being able to bring that really powerful technology that Scott was just taking us through and actually making it usable for the individual independent RIA was incredibly important to us. And the results speak for themselves. And, I think every advisor on this call and all of the advisors that we work with know that the more you're able to spend time with clients, the more you're able to give them a really high quality experience, the more that's going to drive retention, the more that's going to drive referrals. And I'll note too that some of our advisors that we work with that are fastest growing, those firms are growing almost exclusively through referral-based growth. It's just a very, very very heavy focus on client service and client communication, and being able to scale that quickly and be able to personalize and tailor and automate some of that, I think is really the value here with ForwardLane, where again, you don't need a huge team. You don't need to be working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. You may still want to, because, if it's your business, it's your baby. But being able to drive some of these results, and Scott, I know a lot of this you've seen as well in the enterprise, but now being able to pull it into the RIA market, again, an area that you guys are excited about as well.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Rashid. We are, and it's hard to express really, I think, the opportunity that exists here. And one of the main things I want to point out is that because of how buzzy AI is and everybody talking about it and how, how it's useful or not in a lot of cases, or how expensive it might be in the application, what we're here to tell you today is that, we've seen these results: increase that engagement, improve client retention, grow client referrals. Just cut out that data analysis time. The stuff that you would normally do, just think of those manual tasks. They can be automated, and that's something that we can learn from together and deliver you really powerful insights. And that AI could be yours today, and it's highly customizable. And we here at ForwardLane are just really looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, so on that note, Scott, could you kind of go through what it looks like to get started with you guys?
It's funny because there's 3 steps on the right-hand side, but really there's just one step. You could start today by signing up for a free 30-day trial. We have that opportunity today to plug this in for you. If you're already a Wealthbox user or a Bridge user, this becomes just a flip of a switch, and it's something that we can get started on right away. Let our team customize this experience for you. That's really about ForwardLane talking to you about what signals are important or not, and making sure that you get an experience that's relevant for your book of business, and not some out of the box solution that seems just too rigid to be flexible. And then step 3 is you just start using, one of the most powerful AI powered tools for RIAs. So we're very excited about the opportunity, and we would, just mention that anybody attending this call is eligible for that free 30-day trial. And so we really look forward to talking to you about that.
Yeah, and I just want to draw everyone's attention to this little URL here, info.bridgeft.com/ForwardLane. Super simple. If you just kind of plug that in, you can go there and claim your free trial immediately. So that's a nice little way to do that. So I think at this point, it makes sense to go into a question answer session. I'm just double checking to see what people have submitted. So Rashid, I have at least a couple questions for you. So question number 1 would be, what client data does Bridge send to ForwardLane in order for them to use to generate the insights?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I also want to call out too at the outset that if you are a Bridge customer, because we've been processing your data for all of your portfolio accounting and reporting purposes, the data that we will send, you can get some of the insights and the signals from ForwardLane that would usually require 90, 120, 180 days worth of data. We're able to send and backdate some of that data as part of the transmission as well, that we would put to ForwardLane in that integration. So that's why even that 30-day trial is really actually a pretty good opportunity to get a feel for some of the signals and some of the prioritization functionality that Scott went over today. In terms of that data that we do send, for the firms that opt into this trial, it's really all of that portfolio accounting client financial data that is, you're used to interacting with inside Bridge, right? So it's things like account holdings, account transactions, household groupings, things of that sort, all of that sort of core financial data that then is ultimately feeding into the ForwardLane, the ForwardLane Insight Engine.
Got it. Thanks so much, Rashid. Yeah, so we have a couple more questions coming in. Next question is regarding data security. So how do Bridge and ForwardLane keep data secure? Rashid, could you speak to that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know both Scott as representative of ForwardLane and myself for Bridge, we each have our own high security standards. So all of our stuff is cloud-based, and all of that cloud-based technology is secured by AWS, so Amazon's cloud-based hosting that is enterprise-grade security. It's the same grade of security that you get from Bridge in terms of transmission and storage automatically out of box. And I would just add to that, it's the same security infrastructure that you're able to benefit from. That our largest client is a publicly traded bank, and they have very rigorous security standards, and so you're benefiting from that institutional grade security. And of course, Bridge having been through a significant technology vendor diligence process with all of the major custodians as well, you can rest assured that our security standards around cloud-based security are very high, and I know ForwardLane shares those standards. Scott, I don't know if there's anything specific on your end that you'd want to add to that.
I'd just echo that and say we take that very seriously. We had been an enterprise solution for some time, and very aware of the the need for that security and the compliance around that. And so that's something that it took us time, and we deliberately built our cloud-based version of this platform for RIAs with that in mind.
Awesome. Thanks guys for touching on that. So the next question we have coming in from the audience is basically, obviously, Scott, I know you mentioned the 30-day free trial, but then we have a question on a sort of how does the pricing work then for the product, like on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, thanks. That's a valid question, of course. After the 30-day free trial, and licenses can certainly be they could be different. But if we think about what we're offering in the solution here today, the out-of-box license is about $75 per advisor per month thereafter. And I say it can be different. It's that we have an opportunity to bring in other data sources and other information that could really expand the platform. And that's where we can see some variance in price. But right now, you would have this for $75 going forward per month.
Awesome. Thanks so much for going through that, Scott. So it looks like that is all of the questions we had submitted from the audience today. I will be sending out a follow-up email to everyone with a link to claim that free trial, as well as a recording of today's presentation. So if you happen to have any other questions you didn't get a chance to submit, or you think of something after the fact, just go ahead and reply to that email. I'll make sure to get you in touch with the correct person to answer those questions. And I really just want to extend the most sincerest gratitude to everyone that joined us today. And also thank you so much, Scott and Rashid, for presenting. Did you guys have any kind of final parting thoughts?
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Really appreciate the time. Thank you, everybody who's on the call and participated. Really looking forward to learning more about your RIA and how ForwardLane can help you today expand that and grow.
I would echo that sentiment. Thank you, Carolyn, for moderating, and thanks everyone for your time today. Again, welcome to reach out to myself, to the sales, to the support line as well for existing customers who want to sign up. So any of the normal venues for existing customers that are interested in this, you don't have to reach out to anyone particular. Any of us are prepared to help you get connected to the ForwardLane folks or give you more information to help you evaluate. Very excited about being able to bring a really powerful technology solution that we believe is really unparalleled too in the market in terms of the accessibility for registered investment advisors to have access to this. So very excited.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rashid. And just one last time, everyone, it's super simple. If you want to start your free trial, just visit info.bridgeft.com/ForwardLane. Thanks so much to everyone that joined us today. Have a wonderful day, guys.